is enough said.
Happy Monday, Heat Nation. Your boy Ernest here. Back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Living good, feeling great. Let's share that love and positivity, you guys, by smashing that like button. Do not forget to subscribe, because we're going to rock and roll on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Now, before we get started with today's topic, you guys, the Miami Heat do have a game tonight against the Sacramento Kings. The Miami Heat are on the first game of a 6-game road trip, the second game of Jimmy Butler's suspension. Now, it was reported earlier today that if the Miami Heat don't end up trading Jimmy Butler by the seventh game of the suspension that he's gone, they do expect him to report back to the team. But man, that would be just really awkward. It would be really awkward if Jimmy Butler had to play again with the Miami Heat dealing with this. Now, we have seen it before. Scottie Pippen, multiple times, requested a trade from the Chicago Bulls. Never happened. A lot of the times that he did it, and the Bulls were able to bring him back, and they were able to win. I don't think that'll be the same situation with Jimmy Butler. I'm just saying it's happened before. All reports and all indication, you guys, are signing that the Miami Heat are looking to trade Jimmy Butler. And they're looking to get this done. That's a big reason why they did the suspension. Now, a lot of rumors have came in. A lot of things have been fluttering. You guys, keeping up has been really difficult. So there's a few things that have been reported today that I want to talk to you guys about. As we know, the Heat are getting calls from teams. And a lot of these initial calls, it's like what I told you guys before this happened, before the calls came. The Miami Heat are going to get a lot of lowball offers. It sounds like the Heat already got offers earlier this month when the initial report came out that the Heat were listening to offers from Shams Charania. That was true. The Heat didn't like the offers they were getting, so Pat Riley came out and said, "We ain't trading Jimmy. That's it." Now Jimmy's requested a trade. Now teams are calling him, trying to give him pennies on the dollar. And I'm sure Pat Riley's just chuckling. Pat Riley knows that he has a month left. The trade deadline is a month from today. It's on February 6th. A team is going to get desperate. Now, I have mentioned teams in the past that are interested. We've heard names like the Dallas Mavericks, the Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets. From what I've heard recently, those three teams are not really willing to give up what they need to give up. Golden State knows they have to give up Jonathan Kuminga. I don't think they want to do that. And Andrew Wiggins. I don't think they want to give that up for Jimmy Butler. I don't think Houston is willing to give up valuable young pieces that they have. I don't think Dallas is willing to do the same thing as well. It's like I've mentioned before, you guys. You got to find a desperate team. You got to find a team that is looking to win now. And a team that looks at Jimmy Butler like this is the guy that can get us over the hurdle for this year and next year. That's a team that you look at that needs a guy like Jimmy Butler. So the first team that you think of when you think of something like that is the team that's been reported before, is the team that we've talked about, is the team that constantly comes up, is the team that Brian Windhorst says that out of all the other 29 teams, this would be the team that'd be willing to make the trade now. And that's the Phoenix Suns. But we know it's the same crap. Phoenix is not trading Kevin Durant and they're not trading Devin Booker. They're looking to add Jimmy Butler with those two guys. So that means the Miami Heat has to give up Bradley Beal. And I've said since this whole saga has started, hell no. No. Not only does Bradley Beal not fit with this team because of the current players we have, he's just completely over the hill and he's not on an expiring contract. No. Now, what was reported today has been the same thing I've been saying this whole process. Miami Heat are only interested in trading for Bradley Beal if Phoenix are able to find a third and fourth team to send Bradley somewhere else. And like I've said, that ain't happening because Bradley Beal has a no trade clause in his contract. Ain't no team stupid enough to take that. Sorry, Phoenix. I mean, sorry, Suns fans. But hey, Didn't work. So I don't see a reason why the Heat are going to do it. I really don't see a reason why another team is going to do it. I really don't. Maybe a team like Detroit. Detroit can see themselves like, hey, maybe if we have a guy like Bradley Beal and we're trying to get to the playoffs, he can help us there. That could work. A situation like that, a young team that's in the mid-tier trying to get to a playoff push, Detroit can be that way. Cade Cunningham with JB Bickerstaff, but that's a far-fetched. There's been two teams that have been coming up lately. And I want to read this report, you guys, that was reported by John Gambardo, an NBA Inside reporter. And this has actually been confirmed with a lot of different teams. And one of the teams is actually a team that I mentioned recently. Just want to throw that out there. And I'm going to read this quote. Some of the rumblings I have heard are that the Memphis Grizzlies and the Milwaukee Bucks are teams having ongoing discussions about a trade for Jimmy Butler. Miami weighing if it is better to trade him now or in the offseason via sign and trade. End quote. So when I heard that report, and it wasn't just this, I heard it on Sleeper, Hoops Hypes, Memphis Grizzlies have been peaking up. It was actually reported yesterday that on the Las Vegas odds, the Memphis Grizzlies shot up to the number one team. They were like the 7th team, and they shot up to the number one team. Vegas only does stuff like that when they hear things from the inside. It's Vegas. Come on. We all know that Vegas has inside touches. I don't want to say how, but we all know that. So now that Memphis has moved up to the number one when it comes to the Vegas betting, and I even mentioned that in my last video, you guys. What did I say? Yeah, I did it in the 2 videos ago when I did talk about the trade packages with Golden State and Houston. Before I mentioned those teams, the first thing I said, Memphis would be the perfect fit. With Memphis, you have Ja Morant. You have Jaren Jackson. You have Desmond Bane. If you add Jimmy Butler to that mix, that's exactly what they're missing. They're missing a wing player who's a defensive-minded player, who's a rough rider, who fits that grit and grind personality. That's Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler doesn't have to be the number one because they have Ja Morant. They have Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson's a perfect number 3. And I have a trade package that I think works perfectly. But before I get to Memphis, I need to go the other part of this rumor that I heard that I just call bullshit on. The Milwaukee Bucks? Really? How? That's my question. Because I've been seeing that on Twitter all day. People are like, oh man, the Milwaukee Bucks can come in and steal Jimmy Butler from Miami like they did with Damian Lillard. I'm going to put a pause right there. And I'm going to remind these people something. And I'm sure a lot of the fans are going to watch this today. I'm sure you haven't heard this from other places. There's a little thing that's called the new NBA's collective bargaining agreement. And I know my subscribers know about that because I talk about that all the time. The Milwaukee Bucks are a second apron team. So when you are a second apron team, I'm going to remind y'all because I have to do it every time I bring it up. When you are a second apron team, you have to match dollar for dollar by trades. You cannot aggregate players in the trade, which means you cannot add multiple players. You also do not have your mid-level, your biannual exception. You cannot sign players that are bought out mid-season. It really hampers you. Milwaukee's a second apron team. Phoenix is a second apron team. So I don't know why these rumors are coming out that the Miami Heat are having ongoing conversations with Milwaukee. There's only 2 players on the Milwaukee roster that you can trade for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy is making $48.9 million. That's pretty much, 48.7, 48.8. That's the exact same amount of money that Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard only are making on that roster. So the only players that Milwaukee can trade for Jimmy Butler is Giannis or Damian Lillard. Why? Because Milwaukee is a second apron team. With Milwaukee, you can't do a trade like Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, and DeLon Wright for Jimmy. You can't do that. Milwaukee cannot do that because they're a second apron team. So unless Milwaukee is willing to trade Miami, Damian Lillard or Giannis Antetokounmpo, which I am all for, sure, I'll do that trade in a heartbeat. But I don't see a reason why Milwaukee will do that. They're literally in the same spot we are. They're fighting for the 4th seed. They're trying to get in out of the play-in tournament. Why are you going to trade either of these guys for Jimmy Butler? That makes no sense. If it happens, cool. I'd be happy. But I don't see it as really realistic. So I'm going to take Milwaukee off of this list. I don't know where this rumor is coming from. But the Milwaukee one, crap. The Memphis one, I definitely see that. If you guys ask me, I think Jimmy Butler is going to the Memphis Grizzlies. I think Miami sees Memphis as an opportunity to help fix this roster now. And look, you guys, when I say this trade, I know a lot of people are going to be like, that's crap. Why would the Heat do that? Well, here's the thing. What can you really get for Jimmy Butler right now? With the whole drama he's caused, with his contract situation, with the fact that the Heat are a first apron team, so they're limited with trades, you got to get something that gives you expiring contracts, maybe a young asset, and maybe a draft capital. And Milwaukee can do all that. Jimmy's making $48 million. So the Memphis Grizzlies are going to have to get a little creative here. But this would be a trade package surrounding Marcus Smart. I've mentioned this before, you guys. I would love Marcus Smart on this roster. He has that type of dog-like personality that Jimmy Butler has. Udonis Haslem has. He's a guy, bro, with Marcus Smart, you can automatically plug him in this starting lineup. Marcus Smart is a guy that can lead with the ball in his hands. He'd be perfect starting in the backcourt with Tyler Hero, honestly. He's a defensive-minded guard who can and who's a point guard. He's a facilitator. He would be perfect on this roster. You can also throw in Brandon Clark, a young power forward who can definitely fit with the roster right now. He's making about $12 million. Throw in Luke Kennard, who has an expiring contract, who's a three-point threat. And as a filler, you have Santiago Aldama, and you also have Jake LaRavia. And this would work. But the main thing you want from Memphis is that 2026 first-round draft pick. If you get that unprotected, this would give the Miami Heat 2 possible first-round draft picks that year. The Miami Heat have their draft picks lottery protected, so it's all depending on what they do each year. But if you can get some type of draft capital and some players that actually help your team right now, because if you want me to be honest, Jimmy Butler, with the whole drama situation going on, you guys, he's not helping this team. You get him out of here, you put Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard on this roster, they automatically help. And come on, it's Spo. If you give Spo free reins with guys that are just willing to work hard, hustle, and play hard, then yeah, I can see Spo take this team as a non-play-in team moving into the playoffs. Now, can the Miami Heat win a championship without Jimmy Butler? Realistically, no. But you still want to have a fun, entertaining season. Tyler Hero's an all-star. Maybe Bam can step up. Maybe other people will step up with Jimmy gone. I know the last game wasn't great. I know that game against Utah was trash. I still think it was a hangover after all this Jimmy stuff. So I'd love to see how this team does with a possible trade like that. So you guys let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that the Memphis Grizzlies and the Miami Heat are looking to make a deal for Jimmy Butler? Do you think it's going to be another team? Do you believe this Milwaukee crap? I don't. For a fact. But if you do, explain why. I'm curious. Remember, this is not NBA 2K. This is the new NBA collective bargaining agreement. Trades need to work with certain financial numbers. Remember that, y'all. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We pushing to 5,000 subscribers. Thank y'all for the support. Until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said. Let's go Heat.